Well, Coach, took a tough one on the chin there, but it was a brutal battle on both sides of the ball, and we just didn't come out on top. We had opportunities, but we didn't do that. We're going to get to the game here in a minute, but I want to talk a little bit about a couple of things off the field. Was The other night I talked to Councilman Hollis Shadden, and the City Council have decided they would light up the trestle in maroon and white in honor of the high school team this year and in honor of Avery Lawson, the young man with leukemia that we've
Yeah.
had.
Yeah.
And then there's a group of ladies that they get together when there's anything traumatic in the county to help families. They do cake auctions and all kind of things. And they're going to do we talked about a little bit up at the stadium. They're going to have a cake auction and a barbecue for Avery and his family because they're going to have monies to travel back and forth to take
Right.
sure gas and
Yeah.
hotels and all
Yeah.
kind of things. So this will help supplement that for he and his family. And they just, I can't tell you how good it is. Riverport Barbecue, if you've not been there, I know you guys have been there
Oh,
because I
yeah.
can look at your stomachs and tell you've
Yeah.
been there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he's holding this deal. It's going to be a barbecue dinner. You get the dinner for $10, and then we're going to have an auction later. Charlie Chitwood and I'll be uh, selling the cakes, and if you're standing there picking your nose, I might think that you're bidding on a cake, and you might buy a cake that you actually buy, and I will run those cakes up on you to get as much money for these folks as we can. But that's going to be Sunday, September the 14th at Riverport Barbecue. It's $10 for your dinner, and then after the dinner we'll have the cake auction, and it'll be a good thing for the Lawson family, and I think it makes you as a citizen feel good when you're helping
Yeah.
someone that needs help. And these ladies have been doing this for the last 25 years, and I ran down their names quickly the other night at the game, but you'll see them when you get there, and we'll talk about them then. Coach, defensive battle with two of the top teams in 3A,
Yep.
one division, two
Yeah.
division, and I mean it was like a fist fight back and forth all night long. The poor offense had no opportunity to do much because the defense. And we're going to talk to our defensive coach here in just a minute, but we'll get into the game. But it was just a brutal battle. I mean, everybody came out black and blue and
Yeah.
bruised up and
Yeah.
came up just short.
Yeah, I think this is why you schedule these types of games, especially early on, just to kind of get a gauge on where you are as a team and as a program. And I told the kids, on Thursday, I said my biggest concern about this game is not whether or not we're going to win or lose. I believe we were going to win the game, and I think, I think if we play that game 10 times, we win 9 of them. But I think what I told them, I said, my biggest concern is we have some things that we need to address as a program that we're not that we're not on point on right now. And when we win this game, it's going to be really hard to address those things because it's harder to fix things when you're winning because
Yep.
there's no urgency, there's no really sense of, well, this is something that's going to get us beat later on. But then when you lose a tough game like we did the other night, those things are put in the forefront and you have to confront them. And so, we met as a staff this weekend and talked about those things. We've talked about it with our guys. And so we know what those issues are, and we have a plan to fix them. And so we'd much rather be confronted and faced with these things in September than we would in November or December. And so we feel like this is going to be a big moment of growth for us. As a coaching staff, we haven't had to see how our kids come back from a loss. Like that's not ever. We've never had a practice after a loss, and so we had practice this morning, and everybody was locked in and focused, and I think eager to put that behind us. But also, we're not going to waste the hurt and the heartache on it. We're going to take that and be better.
Let's move on and go to the next
Yeah.
game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, let's talk a little bit about this guy sitting to your left over there.
Yeah. So we got Coach Jose Morales. He is our defensive coordinator. Came over here from Mount Pleasant. I'll let him kind of talk about himself, but he is man. He's been awesome for us. The kids love him. He does a great job building relationships and really intelligent and has taught me a lot about defense and has our kids playing really well. and really excited about what we got going on defensively and the brand of defense that he's brought here to Jefferson. So I'll let him kind of talk about himself a little bit. He doesn't like to do that much, but
We'll help him.
Yeah, we'll help him out. So, Coach Morales, go
Well,
ahead. Tell us a little about yourself.
Well, we
I'm
were
doing your
talking.
job now.
Yeah, we were talking earlier about the time that we started getting on the program, and you were giving some of your background, and you played high school football. Where did you play?
played in Hamilton, Texas. I'm a Central Texas guy. Played football there all 4 years, and junior high, all that good stuff, and went off to college. And football didn't really work out for me. Just injuries and other stuff. So I ended up going to Tarleton State, and
Good school.
great school. Had an awesome time there. Got to do coaching little league and being around athletics there, and kind of never really knew what I wanted to do. And then finally, some of the guys, that end up being my mentors around there, kind of were like, "Hey, maybe you should think about coaching." And that's how I kind of got started there. Got to bounce around a little bit. Did some student teaching in Weatherford and got to help their coach, and then did some freshman football there. And then from there, I spent some time up in the Panhandle of Texas, and then in Lubbock also. So that's where I've done most of my coaching career. And then these last few years, I've been, of course, in Mount Pleasant, now here in Jefferson.
Well, we are darn sure glad you decided to go back and get your degree, because he's done an amazing job,
Yeah.
hasn't he?
Yeah.
Your defense Friday night was just unbelievable. Like we were talking earlier, I've never seen two defenses dominate as well as they did. And I mean, the poor offensive lines just didn't have a chance. They just, they're working, they're trying to block snaps. I mean, get snaps off and block the defenders that's coming in right beside them. And their guys were as fast as ours on defense. It was like we were almost mirroring each other.
Yes.
But good job there. And we've got a game coming up too. It's going to be Dekalb Bears coming into town. That's going to be, just as tough.
Yes, sir.
But I think you learned some things in this game. We'll talk about this later. You were at Mount Pleasant.
Yes, sir.
And then you came down here. Did you run the same type defense in Mount Pleasant?
Yeah, so I've been around this defense since I was at Lubbock Estacado, and that was in 2019. So, and then before that, when I was a coordinator up in Borger, where we best had a 4-2-5. And then once I joined that staff with Coach Cluley in Estacado, had to learn the 3-4, and kind of really liked it, the way you can be in the multi-fronts and be able to change people, give people fits, being a 4-man down, 3, and stack, and all sorts of looks so you can go out of it. And I have to change terminology out of it. So it really makes us be multi without having to change anything, makes it easier on the kids.
Did you know when Coach Taylor called you that you're going to have the defensive athletes that you would need to do the things you've done?
Well, I kind of knew that there were some dudes here, from watching, and, it's easier now to know who's out there, social media and all that. So I just, I didn't expect to get the job. I came interviewed. I was like, man, there's going to be some guys trying to get that job because there's such good players there that had a deep run. So I was like, at least it was a good experience, if anything. So kind of shocked me a little bit when I got the job, But other than that, got to meet the coaches here. They've bought in, and that's been the biggest thing, that everybody works so hard. It's not me. It's that every coach, every kid is in it together. So it's really a team thing.
Well, we're glad you and Coach both signed a 20-year agreement that you would not leave. Got a big game coming up. We'll talk about that in a minute. But
Yes, sir.
Anything else you want to particularly talk about Friday night?
Friday night, I was extremely proud of everybody was on defense. They never gave up, because they're pretty tired on that, and they stuck with the game plan. We had a game plan coming in, and we had a backup just in case it didn't work out, and they never got out of it, and our guys just keep battling, and they did their job over and over. And that's one of our standards, that we don't try to do extra. I'm going to do my job, and if everybody does that, we're going to take care of that. A team like Newton, you have to be gap sound. If you don't do your job one time, they're going to run one. And the score we gave up, we had some issues on that stuff, and we're able to run it down the sideline on that part, And that's what kind of one thing that we talked about all week was the one time that you don't do your job is going to cost us. So I was extremely proud of them that they did it over and over that night. So
Yeah, I think we gave up, was it 6 first downs total on the
Yes.
evening, and then
That's amazing.
133
3
yards total.
Yeah.
And of course, 3 turnovers and scored 8 points. So
Yeah.
that's 2 games in a row we forced 3 turnovers. So I don't know if we'll be able to keep that pace up, but our turnover basketball goal has been getting a lot of action.
It was fun to
And
see.
that's another thing that Coach brought with him, and I'll let him kind of talk about that. But that's something the kids have really embraced, and we roll it out on the practice field on Tuesdays because Tuesday's Turnover Tuesday, and so if they get a turnover
just wear it
practice,
out.
they go over there. So I'll let him kind of talk about that a little bit because I think that's unique.
Yeah, we kind of started that when we were out in Estacado. We used to do the turnover belt, and as a staff, we're like, man, let's find something different,
Something unique, because everybody does
Yes.
the belt or the chain.
Yes, and and I'll be honest with you, I can't remember who came up with that idea. So we bought a basketball goal and started there, and the community there is very like it is here in Jefferson. And you'd get the crowd yelling every time we'd get a turnover and dunking it. So it was awesome. So I was like, man, we need to continue doing that. Just it's cool. The kids love it. I feel like the community enjoys it. So and it's different. There's a few more schools now doing it.
Copycat.
Yes. So, but it's just something unique and it's different. So, and I think it really creates, and the kids want to do it. We have a ball that they sign afterwards, and and you can see they're eager to sign it. So it's been really good.
Fisher extremely enjoyed the 8-foot
Yeah.
slam
Well,
that
you
he
can
put
see
on
them when the
them.
ball's loose, like they're fighting
Yeah.
for it. And then as soon as I know the other night, as soon as we got that first fumble, they're all like, "Hey, get up, go dunk it, go dunk it." They know like that's the first thing they're gonna go do is get up and sprint to the sideline with the whole defense and go dunk that thing. And so, but yeah, like I said, I joked with Coben last week about having to maybe lower the basketball goal for him a little bit. But
But he got up and got
he
it
got
in.
up there. So that's been a lot of fun for those guys. Like I said, for them to do it, we do it in practice as well. We've made that a big point of emphasis, and so that's we're starting to see it show up in game situations too because we emphasize it so much.
Well, and now we didn't know what it was for this game, and then I was like, "What's going on with that?" And someone told us, but the players the players are just as excited about that as the fans are now.
Yeah.
They're waiting for it to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep, for sure.
Well, we got to make something on defense because now in the offense you get to score, you got touchdowns, and
Right.
there's a little bit more excitement. So we're trying to find ways to get the kids excited and get them keep playing hard.
They bought into it.
Oh, they have 100%. Everything that we've done, they've bought in. So it makes my job way easier.
Coach, let's talk a little bit about Newton. It was a defensive battle, and pretty much until the one offensive play, defense scored all the points for both teams. It was amazing what was going on out there.
Yeah. Again, it was just it was one of those games, super unique. I don't know if I've ever been a part of a game like that where just a lot of crazy stuff happened. There was an extra point blocked, returned for a touchdown again. Except now we were on the wrong side of it. We had a defensive score. We had a fake punt. That we go for that Ethan went for early on in the game.
That little dog, he kicks, but he's got some speed.
Well, and he told me, and I didn't know we were doing that. I'm already writing my, on my little pad that I keep, and I look up and see him taking off, and it was one of those things. I walked down. I said, "Hey, what did you see something?" He goes, "Yeah, Coach, I saw there was, And so I said, "Well, I'm glad you got it because if you had
that would
this would be a different conversation."
But it's available if you need it.
Yeah, and he did that last year too. Kind of same situation. We were deep in our own territory, and he just saw it and had the confidence to just that he could go get it. But anyway, it was just a wild game, and for us again to play as unevenly as we did, and just kind of up and down, and make as many mistakes we did, and still be in it till the very end against again another state-ranked opponent was was encouraging. I mean, I'm not a big on moral victories or anything like that, but that's something we can take away. And I think the thing I was the most proud of, and Coach Morales probably echoed this too, was that our kids never gave up on each other. You know, they stayed positive throughout the game. You didn't see kids throwing helmets or turning on each other or yelling at each other. They frankly did a better job of that than me, at times the other night. And so I was really proud because it would have been easy to kind of go in the tank and start pointing fingers and guys getting, yelling at each other and things like that, but that didn't happen. And so that bodes well for us moving forward and kind of speaks to the quality of kids that we have. So
Uh, there were several times where it looked like things were going to turn around and change, and then it was the same way with both defenses. They just stopped it and reversed it.
Yep.
We're going to have a game coming up this coming week. Another ranked team in 3A Division II. They're ranked one. I think they were ranked number 6 behind Newton was number 5. Maybe they were number 9. I don't remember. But coach, they're going to pretty much mirror what Newton did, but now offensively, I'm not sure. I haven't seen any film yet. I don't know what they do, but are they real similar offensively?
No, they're actually more similar to our offense. They're gonna not to get in too much jargon and stuff, but they're gonna be in 10 and 20 personnel, so they'll have 4 receivers out there, and then they'll have an H-back kind of like we do, and they're going to run the same type of run schemes, and they do like to throw the ball a little more. They have a freshman quarterback who's really talented, who does a good job of running the offense, and he's been really coached up by somebody. I know Coach Zarang and those guys do a really good job, and but he already has a maturity that's exceeds his age for sure. And they got a receiver, number 2, who's a really talented kid, and they like to move around and put him in different spots. And so, offensively, they're going to present some challenges for us, and I'm sure they're going to see our first game versus Leonard, and they were able to move the ball on us through the air some, and that's probably something they're going to want to attack and try to take advantage of. And so it's going to be a different challenge for us. And then defensively for them, again, very sound. And probably not quite as athletic as Newton, and a different scheme, but still very, very well coached, and they fly around and they're pretty physical. So it's going to be a challenge for sure.
Something you have to always be careful of this time of year. It's homecoming, and the kids are thinking about the afterglow, and it's going to be. I don't think you have any trouble getting them focused, but just to remind them that it is a football team, and everybody is at this game because the stadium will be packed full of people.
Jefferson's unique in the sense of homecoming is a big deal here. We get out a half a day of school on Friday and have a parade, and I think that is really cool, and that's a unique thing. It's a challenge, not a challenge, but it's just one of those things we have to just we have to confront and make sure we're handling the right way as far as from a football standpoint, and get those guys locked back in. Fortunately, there's enough time between, the parade and the game time where we can kind of get our guys locked back in, and, we'll have them with us where we can do that. But yeah, it is a special thing. I know we have 3 or 4 classes coming back and having class reunions this year. And, it's a big deal for us to put a product on the field that current students and current members of our community, and also alumni and those who've moved far off, can be proud of. And so that's a big deal for us, and we want to honor them Friday with the way we play.
Yeah, my daughter was class president of the 2015, this is their 15th year reunion.
Okay.
And they're all going to be there. And then I knew there were 2 others going to be there. So it'll be a big crowd, and the hype will be on.
Yeah, for sure.
You'll see a lot of football players that come up and say, "Remember me, Mister?" I try to remember all of them, whether they played or not.
Right.
But it's neat seeing those guys come back.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're looking forward to it. And again, we gotta, we understand we got to take care of business, and I don't think we're gonna have any problem being focused, because, like I said, I think everybody's eager to get back on the field and kind of show everybody that we're not that team from Friday night. That we we're gonna get back to operating efficiently and being the best versions of ourselves.
Well, and not only did the fans not like the taste in the mouth after the game. The kids certainly didn't, and they're going to be proving to themselves we are the team that we are.
Yeah.
It was a defense that was about like ours, and it was brutal. And coach, you've seen their defense on film?
Yes.
Do they match us, or similar, or?
I think we have the advantage. So, they're a good defense too. So
They always come to they're kind of like Newton. They've built an establishment of winners, kind of like Jefferson has, and it's always we played them a lot when they were in Division II, and we were in their district a couple of times, and it's always been a knockdown drag out when we get back to playing them again.
Yeah, it's going to be a physical game again. So
okay, Coach, you got anything left to talk about?
No, I just again, as far as just where we are as a program right now, I think we're in a good spot. We're not where we want to be, obviously, but I think we're still headed in the right direction. I think this past week's going to be one of those moments when we look back later on in the season and say that's kind of when it turned around for us. That's when we, started to see some changes and start seeing some guys stepping up, and so we're optimistic about the future and about what that holds for us, and are really looking forward to it, and hope everyone shows up early Friday night and gets there for the tailgate, and we'll do our Bulldog walkthrough around 6 o'clock. So the kids love it when there's a big crowd at the tailgate and they come over and clap it up for those guys as they walk in, and it's a big deal. Our guys notice when the stands are full, and when we got everybody around the fence. I mean, we have the potential to have a really great atmosphere here in Jefferson. So we're encouraging everybody to be out there Friday night and help us make it a really electric atmosphere for our kids.
All right, come out and watch Friday night. You're going to have like you said, the tailgate party and all of that going on, and then the kids will actually get to have some time to mingle with the players.
For sure.
And it'll be a good one. We'll see you there.